Here's the truth. One unexpected illness can wipe away years of savings, even if you think you're healthy. So, in this video, I'm giving you everything you need to know about medical insurance, health insurance, HMOs, major illness coverage, everything. Just the facts that could literally save your financial life. So in this video, we'll be talking about the premium medical insurances in the Philippines, everything that you need to know if you plan on getting one for yourself and for your family. So what you need to know is insurance has been around for centuries. It started when people needed to cover their losses in case their ship sank. This is important to know because today the same idea applies. Your premiums, or when you pay a premium, this premium is a contribution to a pool of funds. If something happens to you, the company that pooled the fund will cover the hospital bills. So it's not mabigat for a person or for someone's family in case there is an illness, because illnesses now do cost a lot. And the hospital bed is the most expensive bed. Your premiums aren't random, and it's actually based on an actuarial study. Actuarial study is a scientific calculation of risk based on demographics. So it's important because in the Philippines, there's only a 4% penetration rate when it comes to insurances. That is why international insurance or offshore insurance could actually be cheaper for better coverage. So more on that later. But what's important to know is insurance is there, so hindi mabigat yung expense for your family in case you do get sick. So the risk is dispersed among the different policy holders. And second thing that you need to note, for an insurance company to keep the premiums in check or lower, the company needs to have a lot of members so that there's a bigger pool of funds and lesser premiums for each policyholder. Again, for this video, I'll be talking about medical insurance, HMOs, because these two are different, major illness coverage, and my recommendations. I do have referral partners in most insurance companies here in the Philippines, insurance companies that, I think is reliable, and that's something that I want to share to my clients. To discuss three, the first one is critical illness insurance. This is important because about 1 out of 4 people get a major critical illness before they even reach 60. So that's why if I am part of that statistics, I want to be prepared because I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to do crowdfunding. People do not want to get insurance if they know that they don't get hospitalized often. So if they don't get hospitalized often, I still advocate for a critical illness insurance because it is expensive in case of a critical illness. Critical illness insurance will give you a lump sum or cash payout in case of diagnosis of a major illness. So, yun, if alam mo that your family already has a history of critical illness and hindi mo talaga bet yung mga HMO type or medical insurance type because those types of plans, it increases, I would suggest critical illness insurance. I do have a critical illness insurance and I do have HMO. It's ideal for breadwinners and people with a history of illnesses. Why critical illness insurance? It's level premium. Most plans like this becomes a life insurance coverage if there was no major illness. So how it pays, it's a one-time cash benefit after diagnosis. And it matters because it covers lost income. Your HMO plans will not give you a lump sum of money, but for this one, it gives you a lump sum of money. It covers your lifestyle expenses and your income, because why would you want to work when you need to focus on getting better because you already have a critical illness? So that's the idea behind it. And what I like about this is I sell a lot of medical insurance to senior clients, and the premiums get expensive. I have a client, her medical insurance is about 500,000 pesos because she's 80 plus years old. So what I always tell my clients, get a critical illness insurance plan just in case you cannot cover that medical insurance bill because it does get a lot when you're like 80s or 90s, right? But you would still want to get protection or you would still want to share the risk because it is so expensive to get sick there. The next type of insurance is HMO. So if you are looking for something affordable, I would suggest this HMO type of plan. Just get any protection you can. Prepaid plans, if you're on a budget, etc. Just get this because it really gets so expensive every time you go to the hospital. So an HMO plan is very affordable if the top hospitals in the Philippines are not included in your coverage. It can go as low as 10,000 pesos for a 50,000 coverage per disability per lifetime. So, that peace of mind, it can be affordable. So, I do a lot of HMOs for companies and for budget conscious families. So, I would suggest later the HMO programs that you can get access to. So HMO, it's affordable. You can get prepaid access to accredited hospitals. What does that mean? If you have this HMO, you can just give the hospital your card. Ito po, meron po akong health insurance, and they won't bill you or they'll bill you for just 10% of the coverage depending on your HMO. The HMO company needs to be accredited. When I onboard my clients, I ask them, where is your hospital? Where do you frequent? And we check first if it's accredited with that specific insurance provider. So it becomes affordable because they have a specific rate for doctors and hospitals. That's why it's affordable. And there's also a limit. So the maximum limit is about 500,000 pesos per disability per year in case of an HMO. So this is your everyday maintenance plan. It's designed for routine care, so annual physical exam and minor emergencies. So good to have this in case of an emergency. It's affordable. You can use it anywhere within the network. It's cashless. And it's like a prepaid buffet. You eat what's on the menu with the doctors they choose. It's a great first layer, but don't confuse it for full financial protection just because it ends at age 65 and the coverage is capped. If for extreme affordability, get a prepaid health card because as I said, as long as you're insured, you're okay. Because the risk is really wiping out your savings. Like, I would hate going to the hospital because one visit can be a lot. Search for an accredited hospital near you and get that HMO. There's so many HMOs. There's MaxiCare, Medicard, IntelliCare, ValueCare, whatever is accessible for you and fits your budget, and you have a good financial advisor that you can talk to, so that, in case something happens, you can be assisted, then go. The next type is medical insurance. So medical insurance, this can be affordable, this can be expensive, depends on your budget, but medical insurance is, you don't need to go to an accredited provider. You will be covered. The company or the hospital is accredited with the medical insurance, then it is no cash outlay. But if it is not accredited, then it will be via reimbursement. This is ideal. Medical insurance is ideal for anyone without an HMO. You get a lot of clients who are almost going to retire, so mga nasa 50s na yan, who want to get coverage after they retire because HMOs, it's only until 65 max. If you have a company or a corporation, sometimes we can factor in like until 70, but that's just the max. So medical insurance and critical illness insurance is the ideal type of insurance if you want to have that peace of mind during your senior years. For HMO and medical insurance, it's kind of the same, but you have to understand that HMOs, it needs to be in an accredited hospital. The prescription needs to be from an accredited doctor, while medical insurance, it has bigger coverage and it doesn't matter if your hospital or your doctor is accredited or not accredited, because we will reimburse. But better, of course, if it's accredited, because it's no cash outlay. This is your full-on armor. When you need to be confined, undergo surgery, or end up in the ICU, this plan covers the hospital bills. For HMOs, there are inner limits because it's an affordable plan. But for medical insurance, it's usually it's big. There's big enough coverage, like 5 million, $500,000, and later, what I would recommend has 100 million in coverage. So without this, one operation can cost more than 5 years of premiums, or can cost entire savings. Medical insurance is recommended for executives nearing retirement. They have the peace of mind now, but when they're retired, I think most companies will just give 2 years for their HMOs after retirement, and then wala na. So best to have this tool before any pre-existing condition strikes, because once there is a pre-existing condition, it will be more difficult for you to have an affordable medical illness coverage. All right, just to unpack everything that we talked about, critical illness insurance is a fire extinguisher when a major illness hits. And I always recommend this critical illness insurance just because HMOs are only until 65, and medical insurance can get super expensive when you're in your later years. So think of this as income insurance when a major illness hits and you cannot work. You'll still have income from this lump sum. Ideal for income replacement and recovery time. I always tell my clients, like, why would you be working? You need to focus on getting better because you're sick. International insurers provide up to 5 times more coverage with lesser premiums compared to local insurers. And going back to what I mentioned earlier, this is because in first world countries, there are more people who get insured versus here in the Philippines, where there's only 4% penetration rate. Looking deeper, what would that look like for an international insurance or an international critical illness insurance? So I specifically made this video because not a lot of people know that they can get insurance abroad, but you can. And you can actually message me if you are interested. The minimum for getting insurance abroad is about $3,000. We don't compete on the price, we compete on the value. So if you do want an international insurance, some of the differences between local ones is it has higher coverage. So for a $3,000 premium for 10 years to pay, you get 111,000, or about 6 million pesos coverage for critical illness. So yeah, 6.1 million. So the difference between international insurance and local insurance is you can claim multiple times. So for cancer, you can claim 5 times. For heart attack, you can claim twice. Dementia, once. And other illnesses, you can claim, if it's another major illness, you claim once. If you want to learn more about international insurance, especially international critical illness coverage and insurance coverage for estate planning and continuity, please message me. As for the local ones, I think one of the best that I saw in the market that can kind of compete is FWD's Set for Health, their critical illness plan, because you can claim up to 3 times. My only issue with that is it ends when one is already 85 years old. I always suggest to my clients, especially for us Asian girlies who live until we're like 90 or like 100, to get coverage until age 100. Okay, maybe you're someone who doesn't really care if you live until age 100 or not, but doesn't it make more sense to cover you until your lifetime versus, we cap your major illness coverage? Because when I started in the insurance industry, I was so shocked. Like, the first insurance program that I got, the critical illness coverage was only until 60 or 65. So for me, that was alarming because my grandma died when she was 90. So if I only had that one insurance plan, then when I'm like 60, I won't have any more coverage. Yeah, I do have multiple insurances. When I ask people, they say they already have insurance, and I'm like, okay, so what's the goal for that? 1 million, 1.5 million. Do you think that when you are 60 years old or 10 years from now, that 1 million will cover your entire bill in case of a critical illness? And what if, Some people, they get a critical illness and they live for years back, years, right? So where are you gonna get the income, or yeah, where do you get the funding to get yourself treated? The answer is these programs. So there's international. Another local option that I have personally have is a VUL that has critical illness. And the reason why I like VUL with critical illness is at least meron akong konting investments. I'm also for VUL plans. I really love my VUL plans because I am saving a lot already for my children's education while being covered for critical illness until I'm 60. This type of program, it's AIA Critical Protect 100. It's affordable. It covers you until age 100 and it has a lot of benefits. So yeah, that's it for critical illness insurance, international and local, and all of this is available for you. So my top 3 recommendations for medical insurance is first, AXA GHA. I've seen the numbers. The coverage is 100 million and the premiums is just about 30,000 pesos. So yeah, it's really good for medical insurance. There's AXA GHA. And then the second one is eye care. I like eye care because you can have inpatient hospitalization for up to 5 million. You also have outpatient. So usually medical insurance and HMOs are separate. But for eye care, you get the best of both worlds. You get inpatient and also outpatient consultation. The next recommendation for medical insurance is Pacific Cross. So a lot of people get me as their Pacific Cross financial advisor because they have been denied with AXA because they're pretty strict. But yeah, with Pacific Cross, as mentioned, a lot of my clients who are senior, this is what they get from me, and people who are yung mga executives, they also get this from me. Yeah, for HMOs, what my team has is Medicard, but when it's HMO, since it's very affordable, the thing that you can get or any program that you can get, go get it. Okay, so you may ask me, what PhilHealth? I have PhilHealth. I pay for it, and my company pays for it. I've been paying it for years, etc. So let me just tell you that PhilHealth, yes, it's an insurance company, but it only covers a portion of your illness. Everything that we have is after PhilHealth. So if you have a medical insurance, there's a PhilHealth portion that you cover before the insurance company covers. PhilHealth is not a medical insurance, it's a government insurance that helps you with your bill. And it's not enough, especially in case of a critical illness, because it only shoulders a portion. And it's very dependent on what the government says or what the current PhilHealth administration would cover. Before I end, I am an advocate for family legacy and succession movement here in the Philippines. I spent over half a decade helping Filipino families prepare for their financial goals. My specialization now, or like what I'm focusing now, is estate planning and income continuity for families. So there, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in